Alrighty then. So, I played this game for quite a while before I decided to do any immediate impressions or hot takes, but after a few hours playing, I'm on roughly the third night. So if you're wondering what I'll be doing in this video, I'm largely going to be doing the 3 side quests here. Well, I won't be doing this main quest. And I'll just talk around some of my thoughts about this game as someone who, loved the original Bloodlines and was very curious about how this game would turn out, because it's no real secret at this point that it had a bit of a troubled development history. It went through, different groups, and it's sort of a little bit of a mixed bag. Oh, so, I guess the kind of the biggest difference between this game and the original Bloodlines is the way it kind of presents its mechanics. So as you just saw, while I could pick up that gun using some fancy telekinesis, you can't actually wield a weapon other than by picking it up like this. You can then fire off whatever rounds it has left, and then you can chuck it at someone. And this gives the combat a kind of frenetic melee feel to it, where you kind of disarm an enemy, get their weapon, use it temporarily, and then chuck it away. At any point during this, you have kind of 4 powers that you can use, which, in my case are some spooky La Sombra powers. I've got the Arms of Ahriman. I have the ability to teleport behind someone and then instantly kill them or feed off them. I can basically enter Oblivion, and I can frighten a dude and make them run away, which unfortunately doesn't interact with certain side quests well, because if you make an enemy run away and they disappear, but the game still wants them killed to, say, relieve a combat arena or whatever, then you can actually end up failing the quest or have to reload, because it won't be able to count that enemy as being defeated. So it has a few bugs and issues, which I would kind of expect from a game that's had a bit of a troubled history, but that's basically it. On the left there, I've got some potions. There's a defense potion, there's a life potion, there's your a hit people harder potion, and then there's I actually have completely forgotten what the top one does, so there you go. I completely do not remember. I think that's a blood tonic. I think it just gives you blood points back, but I don't really use them all that often. Every now and again, I'll accidentally use one in combat while I'm trying to do something else. But it's sort of the way the game is set up. You have a semi-open world. It's not a very big space, but you can roam around it. It's got a lot of verticality to it. But like a lot of games like this, outside of quests, you don't really enter a lot of buildings and that sort of thing. There's obviously some vampire-related businesses and similar, where you get the people who will train you for your different powers and that sort of thing. And of course, it's got a lot of stealth-style mechanics like this, where it's highly advantageous actually to just generally thin enemies out by stealth killing them before you end up having to fight them in any sort of melee. This is because enemies are surprisingly resilient, actually, despite the fact that within the opening part of the game, you literally hit a guy so hard he goes flying off and hits a door several feet away.
They think they are.
So, I'll get my big criticism out of the way immediately, is that the combat is kind of bad. It's my original hope when I first saw it was I was kind of hoping it would just be like Dishonored a little bit, but with some vampires, whereas kind of ends up not being as fun. So the trick with Dishonored's combat is you have a tremendous number of options. As I mentioned before, I'm limited to these 4 powers. I can unlock and use powers from other clans like this, but then it replaces one of the 4 powers I've got equipped here, as you can see. There's also like a passive that you can get from unlocking all of the different clans. I was focused on this a little bit, and then when I realized I could only use like the four powers at once, kind of lost a little bit of interest in it. I do intend to mix some Tremere magic with my Oblivion powers, which I'll end up showing a bit. But outside of being able to pick things up with kinesis that are in the environment, which generally speaking, you really want to use this mode to actually see the stuff you can pick up, which is a complaint I'll get into in a bit. It's kind of limited. You can stealth kill people, you can use powers, and you kind of don't have anything else. Like, there's no gadgets, there's no traps you can set. You can't necessarily play with the AI as much as you could in, say, Dishonored. So it feels very limited, and it feels limited even compared to the first game, which at least had the brawling. You had guns. There were situations where you could hack something to create difficulties, or you could set traps and similar. I think the first game, even though it wasn't supposed to be an immersive sim, I think it did a lot better at making the world feel alive. Like this game, you do have the police. You can lure the police into enemies to attack them. Likewise, if someone picks a fight with you and you aren't fighting back, when the police see that, they come and shoot whoever's trying to attack you. So you can manipulate them a bit to clear out a few enemies. But one of the big problems is that when you're doing the main story missions, generally speaking, the game is hard divided. So I'll actually just show this. So let's just get off this roof. Yes, that everyone with a cell phone should have recorded that and put it on TikTok, but we'll just ignore the fact that this game has seemingly forgotten that everyone in the world has a cell phone, which is one of my big criticisms of the world, but don't want to preempt that. So I'll just go in here. So first thing you'll notice is I'm pushing the jump button, trying to be obvious that I'm pushing the jump button. But here, I can't do anything. I don't get any powers. And there's this very hard barrier in this game between this is an area you can do combat in, this is a story area where we talk to NPCs and similar. And then there's kind of like, I can't really do anything here. Like, I'm not able to create any chaos or cause any mischief. And there were certainly times in Vampire Bloodlines that you definitely had your weapons taken away and similar. Like, there were areas you entered that were basically Elysium zones that you could not do any combat in. But they kind of made it obvious why, whereas in this game it's just sort of, my character just forgets how to jump now. And it's a little disconcerting. I understand why they've done it. There's various reasons to, but it is a bit initially confusing. But likewise, it's the same with combat. In combat areas, you are kind of funneled into a room or similar. There'll be enemies in there, and you don't leave that room until you've murdered everyone. So I've seen a few people already talking about that, and how they expected to play like a social toreador or a stealthy character, and then ended up discovering that they basically got locked into Doom-like combat arenas. And that also is one of the things that bothers me about the combat. I think the fact that it's forced, whereas in Bloodlines there was a lot of really bad combat, especially towards the end of the game. But in the part of the game that was clearly the way they wanted it to go, you had a lot of options. You could talk your way past, you could sneak your way past, you could just disengage and just stealth past. But the fact that you're forced to kill all the enemies, and even if you do find where the exit or similar is, it's not usable until you've murdered everyone. So that's a little disappointing. Well, one thing, just to be a bit positive for a little bit, because I know I've largely just shit on the game in the opening thing there, is I really like the voice acting and direction of these characters. So we're going to get the side quest from her. It's not probably going to be very exciting, but I do like the way the interactions go.
I'm not getting rid of you anytime soon, am I?
Is there trouble I can deal with?
Looks like it. Arjun's one of the thin bloods that came in from Tacoma. He's been spotted in the parking garage opposite the PD. We should clear it out. They're getting too close.
I will deal with it.
You know what? We even have a bonus flirt.
You handle yourself well.
Believe me, Elder. You could not handle me. Though it might be interesting to see you try.
I will speak to you again.
Sadly, I don't have any game, it looks like. In any event, so I'm going to do this side quest here. So, when I go to this map, yeah, there it is. So sometimes when you do these side quests, or if you're doing like a main mission, it will actually remove the ability to take other side quests. So you usually can only have just the one thing going at a time, but here it's evidently decided that maybe I can do more. So possibly that was a limitation early on in the game. Oh, but here's a good example. So sometimes when you're running around the world, you'll find these people with different blood resonances. They're demarked by these different icons. There's basically 3 different types, red, purple, and pink. The pink one being the horny, purple being sad, and red being angry as an easy breakdown. And the reason you want to farm these and get these people is because this is how you unlock the out-of-clan ability. So you go to the trainers for the different clans, and as long as you have the suitable amount of blood resonance from those 3 things, you can start unlocking the out-of-clan powers, and then you're able to use them. So I'm going to piss this guy off.
Wrong place, wrong time, buddy.
And then because he's all hopped up on being real angry, he's going to follow me into this dark, seedy alleyway right here. And then we'll just have some lunch. And I've accidentally done that in front of a homeless person. That was not very smart. But it's a good demonstration of the game's mechanics. At the top there, what you see is the Masquerade meter, basically. If that fills all the way up to being red, you breach the Masquerade, and some dude immediately comes out of nowhere and stakes you and forces a reload of whatever you were currently trying to do. Generally speaking, like you see there, it's not terribly hard to manage as long as you're, not eating someone right in front of a homeless person because you're too focused on explaining mechanics. And not enough on paying attention, which is, the classic YouTuber, I guess. But it's sort of just the way this game world kind of goes. There's not a lot of reactivity, like nothing much will happen. If you do manage to get like the Masquerade into the yellow or red, it's not like the extra cops are going to turn up or, the game's going to react in any real meaningful way. It's just don't build meter up to full, and you don't really have a problem with it. So, just going to murder these anarchs, mostly because it's amusing.
There was a cat.
Aw.
So I can shoot! Shit! Help! Eat shit!
So this is me dragging all these dudes into oblivion. I'm just reinforcing this a little bit. Oh, nice, for a trophy. And there we go. So there's some good impact to combat. Like when you're smacking people around, you can really feel like what a lot of the stuff you do actually hurts. Whoops. Actually, I'll just get rid of that. This.
Kill this fuck! Now you should have left.
Oh.
Hey, help me kill this fuck!
Gotta reload!
Find it's really hard, so I'm trying to find something to telekinesis to show it, but It's really hard for me to see where the...
You die.
Okay, I literally expected her to die so I could pick up her stuff. That's what happens when you're basically not paying any attention, so... But it's little things like that that kind of irritate me, like, I hit that enemy, doesn't die. When they're in the, like, wounded state there, they should just drop dead. They shouldn't persist. So you can also crawl up the walls and similar. So Fire doesn't have a tremendous amount of customization. You can change your hair among a few styles. You can change the face shape a little bit. You can add some piercings, and then you get some eye color options. But other than that, there's not a lot. There are some outfits. Some of them are not too bad, actually, but I'm just running. I like to run around as a priest or this for the Sombra character, which seems to make sense. And you can be a male. Just to clarify, as I know I've seen people say that there's no male options. No, that's not true. There is. It's just the female VA for Fire just does such a good job, actually. In fact, I'll probably say again that I think all of the there's one of the collectible types in the game that gives you more health and some XP when you use it. Let's run over here to this like parking garage. This is the actual quest that I'm trying to do.
The hell? Go see what that was. You definitely owe me.
So here it does pay attention. You really do want to thin out enemies rather than doing what I did before, which is trying to, take on a whole group of people at once. Yeah, there we go. So I can pick up this gun. So normally what I like to do is I just lure people to towards just like to lure people towards objects.
Ooh, they deserve that. Honda will be pleased.
I do find sometimes that the targeting can be a bit funny. I wasn't trying to grab the dude there. I was trying to grab the gun on the ground. Oh, there's someone behind me. That's paying slightly more attention this time. And that's that quest done. So there's no fast travel. You do have to wander everywhere. So thankfully that quest set me up. So that's one of the general quest types you get. This tends to be the side content. There's a main mission which has you do some assignments for some of the other characters, but generally speaking, you'll get a quest to go murder a gang, and there's one to deliver a package to someone, and then there's whatever this one is. So, this is the package delivery, yes. A cozy little bookstore. Not all of your vampire friends hang out where you can get them.
Greetings, dear.
I will say,
Have you
this is
changed
probably
your
one of the
hair?
first games I played
Well,
that
one makes a new
genuinely caters for those people who love some Gmilf, as you can see from the flirting option.
I am not yet fully restored. Shall we try again?
I am, of course, at the prince's service.
So here we go. So I'm going to unlock one of the other powers. Sure, we'll just go with this. Why not?
There was no copious vomiting last time. Pity. I should have liked a sample. Well, bottoms up, I suppose.
They'll give you some blood or something similar so that you unlock
I
the
wonder
power.
how the flavor of the tea was impacted.
You have
And go
something
get
for me to do?
a rand.
I realize this is a horrible cliche, but if you're passing St. Stephen's, there should be a package amongst the graves near the ivy-covered tree. Could you bring it? It has a rather short shelf life.
I will see it done. Perhaps we will speak again soon.
Okay. Go to St. Stephen's. Oh yeah, and when you unlock the different abilities of the other clans, you get their outfits as well. So if you do want to a Sorcerer outfit while you're a Toreador or whatever, while you're a Somber or whatever, you can absolutely easily do that. So let's quickly run here. So as you can see, the open world's a little empty. There's a lore reason why there's no traffic on the road. It's because there's a massive snowstorm and basically all of the roads kind of snowed under or whatever, so people aren't necessarily driving around. There can be a few places where there's a lot of pedestrians. There's a park actually that has a few characters, but it does make sense. There's not everyone is going to be out and about in the middle of in the middle of a snowstorm. So I can understand that. Where is this package hiding? So I'll just.
Jesus, it's cold tonight.
Here we go.
I guess that's Mrs. T's parcel. Only a little damp. We should get it back to her.
Yeah, so if you want to move fast
Jesus H. Christ on
in
a
the
cross.
open world, aside from just paying no attention to who sees you rapidly spider climb up a pipe, generally the rooftops are better. You can just sprint across them. So there is a lot of vertical space in the game actually. So, and I'll just quickly go down here. And there we go. It's just some simple experience.
Always such a pleasure to greet your bright, smiling visage.
Your package, Mrs. Thorne. Only lightly soiled by grave dirt.
Strange what powers mortals associate with stone and bones, isn't it? Yet because they do, there is power there. Have a cup on the house to pep you up.
Oh yeah, I do particularly like the specialty drinks menu over there.
You have a pleasant night.
Yeah, and so I don't know if you can do like multiple quests from these people at once. Oh, that's not bad. That's actually pretty solid. But I'll go and do this. So this is like the justice quest. So this one tasks you with tracking down someone who has done a naughty thing and then delivering some justice to them from the Banu Hakim trainer, who's this
It
fellow.
is good to see you again.
So again, you can flirt. I think you can be horny for nearly every vampire in the game, with some exceptions. And there's at least one vampire who's just horny for you right from the start.
Is there someone who needs my attention?
So we'll go and do
I do
this.
have something. This glove belonged to Edward. Edward wore this glove to reduce clear bruising from the knuckles and scratches from his nails. His girlfriend is clumsy around furniture.
I will deal with this. I hope your night is pleasant.
Well, someone's going to get it. So this one, you have like a trail that you follow, and then you've got to identify. I think you just need to walk near to actually the person that you're trying to target. Oh, this is the high instinct mode. This is basically like every detective mode you've seen in other games, like Batman, etc. It shows you who has different blood resonances. It shows you enemies through walls. Highlights objects. It's very useful for that because, like I mentioned before, the telekinesis can be very hard to tell. And oh, this will be nice and easy. So I can go and talk to I can talk to this guy this time. The last time I had, unless he's not the actual target.
Miracle, I don't.
No, he is the target. The last time I did this, I tried
Oh
to
yeah, it's
talk.
sticking in you real good.
Oh, someone's getting something stuck in them. But spoiler, it's not going to be me. So the last time I did one of these, the prompt wasn't to talk to him. The prompt was straight up an attack prompt, and so I killed him in the middle of a public park with about, a whole ton of witnesses. So it wasn't my best moment. But
I hope you don't
we
have
will.
anywhere to be for
There we go.
That should see Nico satisfied. Let's drop in on him.
And that's basically the other type of side quest. Each night you rest in the game, you do some sections as Fabian, and then you go back and you end up getting one of those side quests sort of unlocked. And I will say that the side quest content doesn't seem to be particularly deep as a result. But we'll have a chat to him.
Aha! The brave nomad returns to my humble store. I hear you visited Edward. That is justice. Here, I have found another rarity you might need. Take it if you wish.
I look forward to speaking to you again.
And there we are. And then I'm back onto the main quest here. So that's basically like a look into sort of the core gameplay. I do want to say that the main quests, and especially the stuff Fabian does, can be quite interesting compared to the basic combat arena type stuff you saw there. There's not an exhaustive list of collectibles either. I think there's some anarch graffiti. At some point there'll be something to do with destroying cameras, but that I don't know if that's been introduced yet. And then you've got these like little crosses that you have to find in various spots. And they are also tied to some NPC quest lines. There do seem to be some important decisions that you can make, but how linear or not the story ends up playing out will... It's not something I know yet. I think that will only be something once I've played it a couple of times. Given that the platinum of this requires 5 playthroughs, and you cannot save scum it, because it does not have manual saving. You can only save... it only saves checkpoints, and when it does save a checkpoint or not can be a little nebulous, in my opinion. I've had to repeat a few things, but nothing too egregious, to be honest. But that is something to bear in mind, is that without manual saves, there's no way to see what... During a single playthrough, if you say something and you don't like it, the game seems to auto-save like Baldur's Gate 3 did in certain conversations. So even if you try to take backsies, the game is not going to let you get away with that shit. You are stuck with your bad choices, and so you should learn to live. You should learn to live with whatever terrible things you've done. It seems so that there's not like a fail. If you fail a quest, it will just make you redo it, as a good example. But the game doesn't seem to let you do redos on anything story related, which is fair enough. But they're always very deliberate choices. Like, you're not going to accidentally do something you didn't want to do. It's going to be very clear. Like, you might feel bad about it afterwards, but it's going to be very clear at the time that you're making a choice, which I did like. Another thing I really approved of as well is this main quest here, which I'll do after I'm done having my thoughts put out. This main quest here, when I went to do it, it actually gave me a very clear warning that if I hadn't done any side quests I wanted to do, they wouldn't be present when it was finished, and I really appreciated that. Given that there is only one save and you can't necessarily go back to a save easily, I very much appreciated that explicit, oh yeah, you should absolutely not do this unless you've done the side content you want. So that was pretty good. I wonder if... So this person has some melancholic right there. So we can talk to them.
What can I do for you?
So sometimes when you talk to them, you get these options. So you can tell them to run away. You can call them pathetic. You can flirt with them, or you can just outright threaten them. And I think these roughly correspond to the type. So the flirty type, you can say almost anything to, and they're just horny for you, which is kind of weird. I said I can destroy you to some guy who had the horny resonance, and he was just all down. He was down for that. He wanted to be destroyed in some alley or some way, just not in the way that I ended up doing, of course. And with the melancholic, you can, if you threaten them or similar, if you call them pathetic or like insult them, they tend to get sad and run away, and then you can eat them in an alley. And lastly, if you have someone with like the threatening resonance, you can threaten them with the bottom option, and they'll pick a fight. So let's give that a go.
To me.
Please don't hurt me. Help, please.
Oh yeah, and this is a funny thing. So this person's now running away, and I'm clearly chasing them. That's a policeman I just passed, and note that the policeman doesn't give a single fuck. He's like, whatever. That's just, this is just something that happens. A man is running away in the road at night. Where'd he go? You know, a man's just running away for his life from some woman. I don't need to intervene at all. And it has a lot of these sort of weird, you know, issues with the world where the police are kind of oblivious, but on the other hand, if a guy pushes you in front of a policeman, he will just drop him stone cold dead there and there. So it's a little inconsistent, but you know, it is a video game in the end. I get that, you know, it probably wasn't a high priority to really worry about, but I think one of the things, if you really wanted to strip back on the character stuff, you really needed to nail the world. You know, like Deus Ex as a good example, Deus Ex, sorry, as a good example, it doesn't have the most in-depth RPG systems of all time, but what it offers is a world that really reacts to all the heinous shit you decide to do. Like, if you go into Manderley's office, like this, yeah, the simplest example is just going into the women's bathroom in the original Deus Ex. And everyone is like, why the hell did you go into the women's bathroom? And it's a very, very small thing. It's almost irrelevant. It doesn't really do much. But it sets the world apart, and it tells you that it's alive. Like, people are paying attention to what you do. They really want to know why you, a 6-foot-tall agent, is, you know, running around in the women's bathroom. And, you know, and you can also terrorize someone in there as well. And if you do that, you even get further dressing down for being, like, you know, for basically being a psychopath. So it's a lot of those little things, like with the world, if they were stripping the RPG mechanics back, making the world more reactive and really nailing that would have, I think, added a lot if you were going to do that. At the same time, I will say I don't know how the game reacts to, you know, all different choices. There's a pretty significant decision within the first few hours of the game that I'm already really keen to see what the result of it might be. This is the other thing. When there's a secret or collectible around, you'll notice the cursor in the center there starts to go psycho. That's letting me know that there's something around that's worthwhile looking at or grabbing and that sort of thing. So as I said, those improve your health. Then there's the Anak ones, so... There doesn't seem to be an excessive amount of collectibles in this game, which I'm pretty pleased about. But then again, oh yeah. So this is the out of bounds effect. So if you walk out of the bounds of the map, the tattoo goes completely purple, and then you get blinded like that, and then you wake up back within bounds. So yeah. But so far, just to start wrapping things up, as I feel very divided about this game because on the one hand, I will say that I know I've spent a lot of time just criticizing this game so far, but the story I think is actually really compelling. Like, I'm really invested in this mystery. I love Fabian as a character. I really expected to hate him and find him infinitely annoying, but he is not. He is a Malkavian head bro, and I am all for him. Um, whereas, there's an interesting mystery being set up. I'm really curious to see how my decisions might play out differently in subsequent playthroughs. So far, I've really enjoyed the performance and voice acting work in this game. It's all been, like, pretty good quality, actually. And, are you going to...
It's not Christmas just yet, but I'd love to unwrap you.
Oh my god. Alright. Come over here. So I really like that. I'm not as sold on the mechanical aspects of the game so much.
You want to help keep me warm tonight?
Oh yeah, let's do this. I'm not a big fan of the combat, mostly because, I don't mind semi-janky combat. Vampire is one of my favorite games, and in fact one of my favorite vampire games other than Bloodlines, and it is incredibly janky to put it mildly. So there's something here I can collect. Graffiti. It's more the case that you get forced into the kind of janky combat, rather than it being a choice. Like, if it didn't have Doom-style arenas where you're illogically locked out from leaving them until you hunt down and murder every enemy, I think I'd be a lot happier with it. I think it'd be like, okay, if I can just skip all this combat and just ignore it, especially on subsequent playthroughs, I think I'd be like, yeah, okay, I can deal with that. But as it's forced, that's kind of where I'm like, I'm not feeling that as much. But it does have some merits. How the story and such play out, I think, will ultimately decide how I come to land on my feelings towards this game. Oh, poor Basil. But if the story is good and similar, yeah, I think maybe it's worth a play, probably on sale. But as someone who is a huge fan of the original Bloodlines, I was really hoping that this would be like a big sort of step up. There's all sorts of things to read. It's not what I wanted, but if you judge it on its own merits, I think if you like stories, and you like the kind of stories that the Chinese Room tell, and you like a little bit of mystery and sort of detective noir type stuff, I think there's something here that will scratch that itch. As I said, I'm not going to be declarative because, I've not finished the game yet, as you can obviously tell, and I'm not sure how it works out, but hopefully it's good. So that's about summary. This is still early in the game. I'm only, I don't know, maybe 10 hours or so in. I've been taking my time and trying to explore and soak in the atmosphere a bit, not just rush through it just to see, just to say, oh, I finished the game so now I can critique it or whatever. But I have a feeling a lot of my opinions aren't really going to change, which hopefully means the story is good. But yeah, at the moment, I'd say unless you were a really die-hard vampire fan and you've been really looking forward to this and really, really need to play it, I'd say it's a game to pick up. But if you're anyone who's not in that group, I find this game very hard to recommend, which is a shame because there's a lot of potential here, but I just don't quite feel it yet.
What just
And anyway, that's my first impressions.